Hi, I'm Carolyn. I'm going to present the summary for Mad Max. First, we are introduced to Mad Max 1, obviously the prequel to this movie. The narrator lets us know that juice has become more important than life itself, and that gangs have now taken over these highways. We later learn that this wasteland that we're looking at is post-apocalyptic Australia. So then the flashback ends. Then we see Mad Max and his dog, aptly named Dog, in the car. They're driving somewhere and they're being chased by marauders. And one of the marauders is actually Wes, and they run away after they see that he's found a truck and he's trying to gather the leaking juice out of it. Later on, Max drives over to what he sees an autogyro, kind of a helicopter type machine, and he sees that it's booby-trapped. And then there's a pilot who's threatening him, but then Max turns it around basically and threatens the pilot. And the pilot says that he can tell Max where there is a huge amount of petrol, actually not too far away from there. So then they travel to this cliff that oversees this area. And we see a lot of vehicles that are around this area, and they're talking to the area, and they're not, you can't really hear it very well. But this refinery that they're at, it's consisted of people who've been captured as well as a gang, and it's dog-eat-dog world at this point. But later at night you see some vehicles leave the confined area, but then the road gang chases them down, basically almost kills the people, but doesn't quite kill them, because the idea is that people can trade workers for gas, since it's so precious at this time. Eventually Max finds a way to get in. He does the same thing. He finds someone who's alive, and he doesn't hurt them, but he finds someone who was hurt, goes to the refinery, and asks for a chunk of gas, basically. And we later see that he was going to get hurt, but then the gang comes back, led by Lord Humongous, who is obviously huge, and he's a disfigured face. And it's kind of funny, the whole movie, a lot of people have hockey masks and gear on themselves. Kind of a funny side note. But Lord Humongous is offering to let the people go in the refinery walk away so that they don't get hurt, and they can use, their freedom in exchange for Lord Humongous getting their petrol and everything. And they have 24 hours to respond, basically. Well, Max offers, after Lord Humongous makes this offer, to go get the truck that he originally found in the beginning of the movie, bring it back so that the people can use that to transfer their juice to the coast, which is their paradise that they're looking for, 2,000 miles away. And Max says he'll go by himself, and he starts on his way, and he can't use his car because that was part of the deal. And he finds his pilot, actually, for the autogyro, and he uses him. They fly back to the truck, and then Max uses the truck to go back, and he basically runs into the road gang that they had encountered earlier. And Lord Humongous, actually, he tries to kill Mad Max with a gun, but it doesn't work. So Mad Max actually just causes a ruckus and eventually gets back to the refinery. Then the people, they see the truck and they're happy, but some people want Mad Max to stay and some people don't want to let him go. But the leader of the refinery, he actually says, he kept his word. We can let him go. He's fine. So Max takes all the juice that he can carry with him and takes his car and goes. And he was gonna go, but then he ended up being chased down by the gang members not too far out from the refinery. So he got caught. His car rolled down a hill, and he narrowly escaped. And two of the members went down the hill to see if anything was there, and they saw the dog, and they killed the dog with a crossbow, which is really unfortunate. And a few seconds later, when they try to take the gas from the car, it triggers a bomb, so the bomb blows up as well as the 2 gang members, which is really cool. Then Mad Max is actually rescued again by the pilot of the autogyro, and they fly back to the compound. And once Max comes to after being rescued, he finds that everyone is getting ready to leave the compound. And he actually says he will take the truck and the tanker so that he can kind of take that role so that nobody else can get hurt and have that direction to them. So everybody starts going out, and the road gang is right behind them because everybody wants the juice. It's the most precious thing to everybody in the world at this point. And everybody else in the compound is guarding the truck and the tanker so that it isn't taken into the wrong hands. So there's this long 30-minute, if not an hour, car chase basically of all these vehicles, and everybody's trying to get to the juice and trying to get it from themselves. But eventually we finally have Max and the feral kid that he had met at the compound earlier in the beginning. And the feral kid is trying to get ammo that actually spilled out of Max's hands and in front of the truck. So he's crawling to go get it. And then one of the gang members pops up in front of the truck and kind of scares both of them. But Max pulls the feral kid back and heads right into Lord Humongous's car, completely obliterating Wes and Lord Humongous. But then again, you have the truck that flips over and it doesn't break, but then we see something leaking out of it, which looks like dirt. It's actually sand, and Max realizes that they were used as a decoy so that he wouldn't that he would lead the gang away from the actual petrol. And then later in the movie, we discover, when the narrator comes back in, kind of with the epilogue of the movie, that the petrol is being taken away safely in a whole nother direction to the coast. They've got plenty of it, and we find out that the narrator is actually the feral kid because he has grown up, and he explains that they have not seen Mad Max anymore. He's nothing but a memory, and it's kind of a really cool story. And I've actually heard that there are a few more Mad Maxes out in film, so if you want to go see those, probably recommend it. So thank you, and I'm sure Dr. Diamond will fill in the gaps that I've missed, and I hope you guys have a good class. Thanks.